yesterday brought some jaw-dropping news. In a brand new lawsuit, XRP was officially labeled an illegal, unregistered security. Yes, you read that right. No, this isn't an early April Fool's joke. Check your calendar. This is real. The timing, honestly, you couldn't make it up. Just as the SEC swears in its first ever pro-crypto chair, Paul Atkins, this bombshell drops. Atkins is known to be a true advocate for crypto, aligning with the pro-crypto stance coming straight from the Trump administration. So how does this lawsuit make any sense? He being called a security feels like a curveball no one saw coming. What does the future of crypto regulation look like now? Well, Commissioner Hester Peirce, remember she opposed the Ripple lawsuit back in 2020, has shared some insights on how this shakeup might unfold under Atkins' leadership. Buckle up, because the crypto world is in for one wild ride. She's always been a voice of reason, but today I've got fresh insights from a couple of attorneys in the XRP community that I didn't have before. And trust me, you'll want to hear this. I'll share those updates first, then dive into the latest on Paul Atkins and what we might expect moving forward. Quick reminder, I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice. Please don't buy or sell anything based on what I say or write. Got it? Cool. Now, let me set the stage, because without some context, none of this will make much sense. I'll keep it brief, though I covered this in detail yesterday. Here's the kicker. The Oregon Attorney General's lawsuit against Coinbase labels XRP as an unregistered security. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield is taking a bold stand against Coinbase, claiming that XRP and other digital assets are actually unregistered securities. In a headline-making lawsuit, Rayfield accuses the US-based crypto giant of breaking Oregon's securities laws. The April 18th announcement by the Oregon Department of Justice frames this legal move as a necessary step to fill what they call a regulatory vacuum left behind by federal agencies under the Trump administration. As the department put it, states must step up to enforce the rules where federal regulators have dropped the ball. Looks like Oregon is ready to lead the charge in taming the uncharted crypto frontier. Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal didn't hold back his frustration over the lawsuit in an April 21 post. Meanwhile, Justin Slaughter, VP of Regulatory Affairs at Paradigm, highlighted that the lawsuit absurdly labels numerous digital assets, including XRP, as unregistered securities. Crazy, right? Here's the kicker. This lawsuit is basically a carbon copy of the SEC's previous case against Coinbase, a case the SEC has since dropped entirely. So what's the deal? They just dusted it off and refiled it? It's hard not to see this as political theater at its finest, with partisanship written all over it. Can't you see it? One side is on a mission to take down crypto, and it doesn't have to be this way. I don't believe it always will be, but for now, they think they can pull this off without consequences. Here's the thing. It doesn't make sense. There's no massive anti-crypto voting bloc out there. You won't win voters by going after crypto. If anything, you'll alienate them. Voters will push back, not physically, of course, but in the voting booths where it matters. Why? Because there's a growing number of people who support crypto, and it's influencing how they vote. And for those who don't like crypto, well, honestly, it's probably because they don't understand it. If it's not part of their world, it's not going to sway their decisions anyway. So why bother picking this fight? Not here to tell you what to think, but let's be real. If you're pro-crypto, of course you're invested. It's your financial future on the line. But seriously, how do these folks not see what's happening? It's wild. Take the SEC lawsuit against Coinbase, for example. XRP wasn't even listed in the original filing, but then out of nowhere, they slapped it in after everything was already settled. They knew the SEC had dropped the case with Ripple. They knew the appeal was done and dusted, yet they added XRP anyway. It's mind-blowing. Tyler Winklevoss, one half of the famous Levy twins and co-founder of Gemini, summed it up perfectly. Maybe Oregon's AG didn't get the memo. A U.S. federal judge already ruled that XRP isn't a security. Impeach this clown for wasting taxpayer money and blatantly defying the law. Spot on. The fact they're still coming after crypto is ridiculous enough. It's clearly ideological nonsense. But this takes absurdity to a whole new level. The nerve to toss XRP into the mix and then act like the Ripple case never even happened. It's like they conveniently erased all the facts that didn't fit their narrative, every single one. It's absurd. Attorney James Murphy had something to say about it too. He pointed out that yes, XRP is not a security. And honestly, you have to wonder, are Dan's professors at Willamette School of Law just shaking their heads at this nonsense? Because they should be. Meanwhile, attorney John Deaton weighed in as well, sharing a Tyler Winklevoss post and reminding everyone that Judge Torres definitively ruled. XRP itself is not a security. Here's the context behind John Deaton's remarks. He pointed to a critical statement made by Judge Torres, a U.S. federal judge. Judge Torres, a lifelong Democrat backed by Senator Gillibrand and appointed by Barack Obama, ruled fairly in the SEC v. Ripple case. Interestingly, Oregon's securities laws align with federal law in the Howey test, complicating matters further. Dan Rayfield should be embarrassed. Instead of protecting investors, he seems more focused on staying relevant in a party grappling with an identity crisis. And here's the kicker. Judge Torres emphasized that politics have no place in this debate. Thankfully, her judgment in the Ripple case reflected that. Let's not forget, she's a Democrat, as are Senator Gillibrand and Obama, who appointed her. So no, this wasn't some right-wing propaganda machine at work. The judge simply acknowledged the truth. XRP isn't a security. Dan, there's no need to relitigate this. Move on. Your stance isn't just misguided. It's laughable. Get it together. Here's a fiery take from John Deaton. He called out Dan Rayfield, tagging him at OrdoJ, accusing the Attorney General of acting like a typical bureaucrat by ignoring a federal judge's explicit ruling. XRP is not a security. And let's not forget, the judge in question, a Southern District of New York veteran, was appointed by Barack Obama and is a lifelong Democrat. Deaton wonders how many of the 75,000 XRP holders involved in the Ripple case are from Oregon, the same retail investors Judge Torres referenced when ruling XRP isn't a security. Yet Rayfield seems more focused on chasing headlines than protecting individual investors. But here's the kicker. Most of those headlines, yeah, they are likely coming from people who don't agree with what he's doing. Look, we're all talking about it. You're hearing about it. You're seeing it plastered all over crypto media. If you follow any of those outlets, that is. Let's be honest. We're the ones paying attention here. If he thinks he's scoring points with this, I really have to wonder what's going on in that thick skull of his. Honestly, I can't figure it out. This isn't helping him. It's pure unfiltered political grandstanding. That's all it is. And it's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. You've got to wonder how many voters in his jurisdiction, the very people Attorney John Deaton spoke about, are even aware this nonsense is happening. Does he really think he's protecting them? Please, it's absurd, plain and simple. Here's a post shared by XRP community member and attorney Bill Morgan, and it's sparking some conversation. He highlighted a post from Justin Slaughter listing several coins, including XRP. But you know what's missing? Attorney Morgan didn't hold back. Bitcoin and Ethereum get another free pass, he noted. And he's not wrong. XRP officially declared not to be a security, made the list, yet Ethereum, which still hasn't been cleared of the security debate, is nowhere to be seen. Why? Well, who knows? Because reasons, right? It's honestly ridiculous. The good news, this isn't going anywhere. XRP has already been established as not a security under the law. So good luck trying to change that. Seriously, you're going to need it. And with that, here's another post from attorney Morgan to keep the conversation going. He points out how they conveniently omit any mention of Judge Torres's decision. They know it's spot on, yet they act like it never even happened. And honestly, he's right. Imagine filing this thing without referencing such a pivotal legal ruling, not even a passing mention. The sheer audacity. Seriously, what kind of intellectual dishonesty is that? You've got to wonder if any judge reviewing this might catch on and question their credibility. Meanwhile, attorney Morgan shares another twist. Just days before Coinbase's CFTC regulated XRP futures go live on Coinbase derivatives, the Oregon AG files a complaint claiming XRP sold on Coinbase and Coinbase Prime is a crypto security. That's their argument, despite the fact that Coinbase delisted XRP after the SEC Ripple lawsuit began in December 2020 and didn't allow its sale for nearly 3 years until Judge Torres's summary. And let's not forget that very ruling declared XRP itself is not a security. The irony is almost too much. No one could dream up this bizarre dystopian drama. It's just too ridiculous. Seriously, isn't it curious that the delisting years barely get a mention? Not a single word. Why? Because this whole thing isn't being handled in good faith. This guy clearly wants his 15 minutes of fame, thinking this move will make waves. Spoiler alert, it won't. There's no mythical anti-crypto voter bloc. It's a fantasy. Democrats, listen up. There's no anti-crypto voter bloc. Cut it out. You're not doing yourselves any favors. And no, it's not all Democrats, but for those pushing this agenda, wake up. Seriously. It's also generational. The younger the Democrat, the more likely they're pro-crypto. That's just a fact. So yes, it's political, but it's also about age. Something to think about. You can see it in how they vote. Most of the pro-crypto Democrats in Congress are younger. Interesting, right? But it really doesn't have to be this way. Oh, and if you missed it, here's what Attorney Morgan was talking about. Quick update, Coinbase Derivatives just launched XRP futures. I actually mentioned this a while back, weeks before it went live. Can't recall exactly when. When the news broke, I flagged it, but now it's official. Coinbase has made waves by listing XRP futures contracts on its U.S. derivatives exchange, as announced on April 21st. Regulated by the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, these contracts offer traders a capital-efficient and compliant way to gain exposure to one of the most liquid digital assets, according to Coinbase's post on the X platform. The offering includes standard contracts representing 10,000 XRP and nano contracts tailored for retail traders representing 500 XRP each, about $1.00 as of April 21st per regulatory filings. It's exciting to see this go live. Futures contracts are a staple of traditional finance, and their introduction to the XRP ecosystem is a big step forward. That said, it's not for everyone, not for me at least. I prefer self-custody and holding the asset itself. But hey, to each their own. If this is your approach, dive in and make the most of it. Big news in the crypto world. We've got a new SEC chair, and for the first time ever, they're pro-crypto. This could mark a turning point for the industry. With this shift, the SEC's involvement in crypto might soon become a thing of the past. Aside from wrapping up any lingering lawsuits like the Ripple appeal, once those are settled, it'll be time to focus on real regulatory clarity. Congress will step in to decide which agencies should oversee what, but one thing seems clear. The SEC won't be running the crypto show anymore. And here's the exciting part. Paul Atkins has officially been sworn in as the 34th chairman of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. A new chapter begins. Guys, can I just say how relieved I am that I no longer have to see that Mr. Burns lookalike ever again? Seriously, as an XRP holder, it wasn't just about dealing with the situation. It was having to see that face in every article, every post, every single day. And since I run a YouTube channel covering all the latest updates, I couldn't escape it. I had to constantly stare at that creature. Honestly, good riddance. No more daily doses of that nightmare. Mr. Burns wannabe, you're officially out of my life. Anyway, let's dive into the real news. On April 21st, it was announced that Atkins' role was finalized nearly 2 weeks after the U.S. Senate confirmed his position, with a 52-44 vote on April 9th. I am honored by the trust and confidence President Trump and the Senate have placed in me to lead the SEC, said Atkins, who previously served as an SEC commissioner between 2002 and 2008. As I return to the SEC, I'm excited to work alongside my fellow commissioners and the agency's dedicated professionals to advance its mission, facilitate capital formation, maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets, and protect investors. Looks like they might actually start protecting investors for real this time. Crazy concept, huh? Imagine that, actually looking out for the little guys instead of trying to crush us. That'd be a nice change of pace. I mean, if they're going to crack down on the fraud, scams, and shady stuff in crypto, go for it. Nobody's arguing against that. Clean up the mess, sure, we're all for it. But come on, leave XRP and the legit projects alone. Not everything in crypto is a scam. Focus on the real issues, not the stuff that's actually helping to build the future. Oh, and check this out. Yeah, look at this guy. He's not messing around. He's a believer in crypto through and through. Paul Atkins, the man in question, reportedly has up to $6 million, 0 cents invested in crypto ventures. We're talking Anchorage Digital for crypto custody and Securitize for blockchain tokenization. That's $6 million, 0 cents of his own money in the game. So yeah, he's not just talking the talk, he's walking it too, just saying. Here's the scoop. Big changes could be coming to the SEC under its new chair, Paul Atkins. Hester Peirce, a current SEC commissioner and head of its crypto task force, offered a glimpse of what might be ahead. Speaking to Cointelegraph, Peirce shared her excitement about working with Atkins, who was recently sworn in as SEC chair following Senate confirmation. Peirce knows Atkins well. She served as his counsel during his first term at the SEC from 2004 to 2008. He cares deeply about economic growth and ensuring the markets we oversee help drive that growth, she told Cointelegraph. For the crypto world, this could signal a shift in the regulatory landscape. I'm eager for the opportunity to collaborate with Atkins and help refocus the agency to align with all aspects of its mission. And guess what? That chance became a reality because shortly after he was confirmed and is now officially the SEC chair. Great to see it happen. Before wrapping up, I want to highlight this quote from Hester Peirce, who stood against the lawsuit targeting Ripple and fought to protect us XRP holders. She said, "I think we're all trying to get to a good place, which is putting some clarity around crypto, some regulatory clarity." Powerful words. And now we can finally say it. Former SEC chair, yes, former supreme leader and self-proclaimed dictator, Kim Jong-Gensler. What a guy. Insisting the rules were always clear while causing chaos. Truly, what a piece of work. Remember, everything's perfectly clear, right? Nothing to change. What do you mean? We can't just invent rules to make it more clear. It's already clear. You know, like that scene in Super Troopers with the cop saying, "I can't pull over. I'm already pulled over." Yeah, it's like that, except it's not. Turns out clarity, not so much, or at least not enough. But hey, it's getting clearer every day. Years from now, we'll look back, point to the turning moments of clarity and say, that's it. That's when it all made sense. What do you mean no more clarity? Oh, there's plenty more clarity. Just wait until after you left. We will look back and say, see, we told you so. Okay. Why? Because instead of acting in good faith, some tried to sabotage our shot at life-changing wealth. But guess what? The XRP community prevailed, and thankfully there was a shift in leadership. Now we've got pro-crypto voices steering the ship, real leaders. Grown-ups who aren't obsessed with tearing down an entire asset class and stalling technological progress that could benefit the world. They actually understand the bigger picture. I couldn't be happier with how this all played out. Quick note, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't make any financial moves based on what I say or write. Seriously, bad idea.